Hello everyone, back tuning into today's video. We're going to have a look at weather next week's 10 days. For today's video, that's going to take us to around the 23rd of February. And we'll be able to extend out beyond that for the extended GFS and ECM ensemble. So we're going around a couple of weeks. We'll have a look at Beijing Climate Centre at the end of the video for the next 40 days. That takes us into the second half of March. We're going to begin with some of your snow pics. And of course, we'll have all of the latest in terms of Storm Dennis. Storm Dennis will be menacing the country as we go through to the weekend. It's going to be quite a long video, quite an extended one. Hope you find it interesting and informative. Don't forget to give us a thumbs up on the video if you've enjoyed it when you've watched it. And also subscribe to the channel. And you can let us know in the comments if you enjoy the video. Right, starting with a few of your pics then. So this one was emailed to us by Anthony Jones. So showing snowy Staffordshire moorlands a couple of days ago. So there we go, looking quite wintry a couple of days ago in Staffordshire over the moors. And this one was posted in the comment box to Gazza. This is from Andy, showing again pretty snowy conditions on the moorlands, and his dog in the middle of the picture enjoying a rather wintry afternoon walk yesterday. This one from Brian Mack over in Northern Ireland, also posted to the comment box at Gazza, is looking pretty wintry in Northern Ireland yesterday, not yesterday, the day before. In the afternoon, quite wintry there on Tuesday afternoon. Another one from Northern Ireland showing quite a snowy looking landscape, and sky looking pretty ominous as well. So I don't think the snow showers would have been all that far away once that picture was taken. They've got a few from Twitter as well that have been shared with us. If we scroll down and have a look at that. Well, this one is from Longshank, showing that we actually have some spring foliage appearing, even this far north. I think Longshanks is near Liverpool. Hawthorns on south-facing hedges have been coming into leaf since the 3rd of February. Bizarre. And there we go. You can see that, yes, got a little bit of spring foliage, a little bit of spring growth there in the north of England. This one by Synchronos, showing a bit of a wintry looking scene across Loch Lomond, looking quite wintry up on the mountains. Moving down to one or two more, we can see that it was wintry yesterday morning in Sheffield. UK snow at Grenoside, Sheffield. And proper wintry looking afternoon or wintry looking morning yesterday up there in Sheffield. I've got one or two more to share with you. This one is quite interesting. It's a video tweeted by Weather Meteo World at Storm Chaser UK EU. And it's from Baghdad. It's a retweet of somebody called Amar Karim saying, OMG, hashtag Baghdad is snowing. So excited to see snow. It's beautiful. It's the first time it ever happens. And there we see the snowflakes falling in Baghdad, Iraq. So I've been struggling to get snow here in the UK this winter, but it looks like they've had a little bit in release. Of course, what's happened is they've been so very mild and zonal. The cold has to go somewhere, remember. So, being so mild and zonal across Europe that the cold air is actually being pushed down into the Middle East this winter. So, yes, been some snow in Iraq this week. This one's from Lee, from 2018. On this date in 2018, that's February the 11th, they look like a Dickensian Christmas card. Of course, we're gearing up for the Beast from the East at this point, 2018. This one from Aid Major, caught in a hail stone storm this afternoon. So that's from Gloucestershire. And then this one is from Jezza, at Jezza Thorpe, and showing a snowy scene across Lincolnshire. There we go, snow falling quite heavily across Lincolnshire a couple of afternoons ago. So big thanks to everybody for showing their pictures. If you'd like to have your pictures featured in the videos when we get a bit of time, then we're happy to do that. Just email them to us at gazservice@gmail.com. Share them on the comment box at gazservice.com. Or also you can share them on our Facebook and Twitter pages when we get a bit of time. We're happy to feature them in the videos. Thank you very much to everybody for sharing their pictures. Right, moving on to Storm Dennis then. So this is how the fact chart is looking for midnight on Saturday. Remember, this is the human interpretation of models by forecasters at the UK Met Office. Got a weakish sort of weather front across the south and southeast at midnight on Saturday. We're not really too worried about that. It's all of this low pressure in the Atlantic, and particularly this one just here, this 946 millibar area of low pressure. That is Storm Dennis. It's going to get together with the 937 millibar area of low pressure to South Greenland and the 943 millibar area of low pressure near Iceland. It's all going to merge into one very significant system, and as we go through to midday on Saturday, look at that, looking really horrendous across the country. Storm Dennis will be a menace this weekend, and got so many weather fronts there at midday on Saturday. It really does look very nasty indeed. So there'll be bouts of heavy rain swinging in across the country. Really tight packed ice bars too, so very windy, gusts of wind back up to 60-70 miles an hour across some parts of the country, and very wet with all of these weather fronts as well. Midnight on Sunday shows Storm Dennis has become a 926 millibar area of low pressure south of Iceland. That is incredibly low pressure, 926 millibars, and these weather fronts will be producing more outbreaks of heavy rain. Look where those cold fronts are. Midnight on Sunday. As we go through to midday on Sunday, you can see those cold fronts have made very little progress. So it looks like the cold front's going to get stuck across England and Wales Saturday into Sunday, and could produce a real deluge of very heavy rain across parts of England and Wales on Saturday to Sunday. In fact, the story with Dennis could be more towards rain rather than wind, although wind will be very significant as well. We're going to have a look at both wind and rain with this system through the video, but certainly it's all going on over the weekend. Going to be a nasty weekend after last weekend and Storm Kira. We're doing it all over again with Storm Dennis. Maybe not quite such severe winds, but the rain could be worse with Dennis compared to Kira. This is how the wind gusts are looking from the latest GFS run over the next few days. So starting today, some weather outlook. Starting today, not too bad with the winds. It's going to be quite windy up the channel, actually around these southern coast areas. And I know through the channel lines it's pretty windy too. But inland areas, not too bad with wind today, but tomorrow gets our first push of wind, bringing 50-60 mile an hour gusting towards northern and western parts of the country through the day, 30 to 40 elsewhere. So quite windy tomorrow, but it's really Saturday that winds start getting going. Here they come again, 60-70 mile an hour winds up these western coastal areas, 40-50 mile an hour gusts inland through the morning, when wind strengthens further through Saturday afternoon, widely 50 to 60 mile an hour gusts inland, 60 to 70 mile an hour gusts again around these western Irish Sea coast of northwest England and north and west Wales, looking very nasty. And then another push of very nasty winds overnight Saturday into Sunday. Sees wind gusts going perhaps up to 70 miles an hour inland across some parts of England and Wales. So this is enough to cause further damage and disruption, not reaching quite the severe levels that we did with Storm Kira, but nevertheless 50, 60, 70 mile an hour inland gusts will be enough to cause damage and disruption too. And then through Sunday itself, the worst winds actually transfer a little bit more towards the northwest, so 70 to 80 mile an hour gusts coming towards western parts of Scotland perhaps on Sunday evening, then transferring through the central lowlands maybe overnight Sunday into Monday. By that point it's starting to get colder again with those northwesterly winds too. So looking at the severe weather warnings from Dennis, and we can see that for Saturday we've got a widespread yellow warning for wind across all parts of the country, all parts under a yellow weather warning or weather alert. We also have amber warnings for rain as well. So if we zoom in on those amber warnings with Dennis, let's make sure we're up to Saturday. So if we zoom into the amber warnings, we can see that the amber warnings are for rain for some parts of Wales, for southwest England, for northwestern England as well. Valid from 3 o'clock in the afternoon Saturday to 3 o'clock in the afternoon Sunday. They're saying Storm Dennis is likely to bring very heavy rain, flooding and disruption to travel over the weekend. Home and businesses are likely to be flooded, causing damage to some buildings. Fast flowing and deep floodwater is likely causing danger to life. Delays and some cancellations to train and bus services are likely. Spray and flooding probably leading to difficult driving conditions and some road closures. A good chance of some communities becoming cut off by flooded roads. Power cuts and loss of other services to some homes and businesses will be likely. So again, a widespread warning on Saturday for rain. All areas under a yellow warning for rain. All areas under a yellow warning for wind as well, I think, and those specific areas under an amber warning for rain. The wind warning reads like this: Storm Dennis will bring strong winds over weekend. Some disruption to travel is likely across parts of England and Wales. And they go through the what to expect. And then we also have Sunday under an amber warning as well. So that's the amber warning for Sunday. So again, amber warnings for rain across northern England, amber warnings for rain across some parts of southern Wales, amber warnings for rain across southwest England, and also another one added, an amber warning for rain a little bit further along the south coast, more towards Portsmouth, Brighton, and that sort of area. All areas still under a yellow wind warning as well. So they are concerned about wind at the UK Met from Storm Dennis, but it looks as though the amber warning concern is actually more to do with rain, and then there's a yellow warning for Scotland and Northern Ireland for wind on Monday as well. So it's all happening, it's all going on, and obviously we'll be keeping you updated about all of the latest developments with Storm Dennis in the next day or so. But Dennis will be a menace, and going to be a case of batten down the hatches and get the waterproofs out, I think, this weekend. Central temperature is looking like this. So we finally have the CET in for January. Remember, there has been a delay on getting January CET through, but it is now through and confirmed. The January central temperature came in at 6.4, an anomaly of 2.6 degrees above average against 6.1 to 1919, against 81 to 2010. That's around a couple of degrees above average. February is provisionally sitting at 6.3, an anomaly of 2.1 degrees above average. That's provisional up to yesterday, the 12th. Exceptionally mild winter this is, and it's going to be a case of wait till the end of winter, of course, see just how mild the winter has been. It's going to go on as well. So these are the 500 millibar high anomaly flowcharts from Penn State University for the next week, 10 days, with the ECMWF on the top, the GFS on the bottom. 500 millibars is an area in the atmosphere where high pressure and low pressure have been moved around by a jet stream running above. A retrofit high pressure breeds low pressure. Yes, we've got above average heights with the ECM in the 7 to 10 day time frame sitting over to the south of the country, below average heights up to the north and the west too. In come the Westerlies. So it remains mild, zonal, Atlantic driven. The only difference is that it's possibly a bit of a drier interlude sometime around like the 22nd, 23rd of February as high pressure begins to push up from the south, sends a jet stream a bit further north. But for northern areas, still looking very unsettled. GFS is very similar. The only difference is that everything is further north still, so the below average heights are a bit further north. The jet stream is a bit further north too, and the ridge of above average heights, the high pressure, that also is further north. So turning a bit drier there as we head towards the final week of February, but very mild. Winds are from west-southwest, and we remain zonal and Atlantic driven. These are the GFS upper air temperature and precipitation ensembles for the next couple of weeks. The red line is a third year upper air temperature average for Manchester. We're going to go milder with Storm Dennis in the next few days. Temperatures will be lifting up and then falling away again early next week. Early next week will be similar to what we've had at the start of this week, with winds in from the northwest, wintry showers into northwest parts of the country. And then we find that temperature lifts up as we go towards the final week of February. Closing days of the month could see temperatures falling back. Maybe hints of a bit of a cold snap, actually, going into the very last days of the month. Lots of rain to come with Storm Dennis as well, and then perhaps going a bit drier with this milder interlude as high pressure pushes up from the south and southwest, perhaps ending the month on a very unsettled and potentially colder note as well. Temperature anomalies from the 13th to 21st of February, generally a little bit milder than average. Precipitation anomalies from the 13th to 21st of February, a little bit wetter than average, particularly for England and Wales, where it's quite significantly wetter than average, actually. That's how the GFS looking for Saturday. Storm Dennis is bearing down on us, wet and windy over the weekend. We've already talked about what's going on there. Into next week, going to a colder northwesterly, bringing wintry showers back to northwestern parts of the country. Then in the middle and second half of next week, high pressure starts to build towards our south, starts to bring up some milder air from the southwest. Heading up towards day 10, high pressure centred over France, low pressure is away towards Greenland, Iceland. Mild or very mild southwest winds wafting up across the country. And I dare say that's a bit spring-like by day 10. This is the 23rd of February, certainly 23rd of February. High pressure across central parts of Europe. The winds are pushing up from the south. There may be overnight frost and fog, but I mean by day, I would suspect temperatures there are probably into below to mid-teens Celsius in the late February sunshine. In the more extended range, a little bit of a cold snap, though, begins to materialise as high pressure starts to pull out into the middle of the Atlantic and low pressure dives in towards Scandinavia. So for the very closing days of the month, looks like we're pulling some colder air from the north and possibly some wintry showers in northern and eastern parts of the country. This is as far as we go with the GFS, which is to the last day of February, Saturday 29th of February. GM looks like that stormy over the weekend via courtesy of Storm Dennis. Into next week, cold with wintry showers through the early part of the week. And then into the second half of the week, we find that we get less of a push of high pressure from the south, actually, with the GM. So we just stay unsettled up to day 10, 23rd of February, but at least it will be mild. ECM looks like that, very unsettled over the weekend, quite stormy and unsettled too. Into the early part of next week, cold with wintry showers in the north and the west. Then the middle of next week sees high pressure building to our south, low pressure, deep low pressure still to the north. The only difference is that it's a bit drier for the south and it's also becoming very mild, I think, there. That's a look by day 10. Overall, still flat, still westerly, wettest weather in the northwest, driest weather in the south and east, all areas looking mild. This is the precipitation type forecast based on that ECM run from Meteo.com. Had some rain and snow in the northeast today. Most of that's getting out of the way. Then you have a drier interlude, but tomorrow we bring a weakening front across the country. That brings some showy rain with it, but it's Saturday that we unleash the rain from Storm Dennis. Very wet and windy across the country on Saturday. And see how the rain just goes on across England and Wales in particular into Sunday. Very, very wet over this weekend. It's not till Sunday evening that the rain finally clears this southeastern corner and we go back into wintry showers into the north and west through Monday and Tuesday next week. Middle of next week a bit drier and then more rain into northwest in the second half next week, but actually southern areas are turning drier for the second half of next week, or a little bit drier anyway. And it also gets milder as well. So overall next week looks a bit drier in the south, but still very unsettled in the north, and temperatures after a coolish start will lift up. These are the options on the table within the ECM ensembles today for day 10, which is the 23rd of February. From the Icelandic Met, obviously I've updated today, we didn't update yesterday. We've got 15 members of the ECM ensembles with high pressure to our south and low pressure away to the north and the west. Winds are in from a mild west-southwest direction at day 10. 13 with low pressure again to the north. High pressure is again over and to the south of the country. Winds remain in from westerly direction there. 12 with high pressure, more centrally located over country, low pressure up to the north. That's probably going to be quite mild, but could have some more significant night frost perhaps. And then 11 actually deeper with low pressure, more unsettled. Looks like all roads are leading to west-south westerlies at day 10. 2 weeks time, easy options that we've got from the ECM Ensembles is for 28th of February. We have 20 members of the ECM Ensembles taking high pressure out into the Atlantic, mid-Atlantic ridge, with a trough of low pressure centred over top of the country. That's trying to go colder, that's trying to bring colder air down from the north. And 14 with the trough of low pressure more towards Scandinavia and a mid-Atlantic ridge. That would be bringing down cold northerlies. 10, again with a mid-Atlantic ridge out to our west, low pressure to our east, bringing down colder north-northwesterlies. And then just 7 keeping us mild with high pressure over to the south of the country, low pressure up to the north, jet stream rising northwards. We may be lining up a cold snap for the very end of this exceptionally mild winter. Finally, the Beijing Climate Centre, these are 500 millibar heights broken down to 10-day periods. The first 10-day period will take us from the 16th to the 25th of February, the coming 10 days, with low pressure to the north, high pressure to the south. We remain westerly and overall mild or very mild. The next 10-day period doesn't really show a cold snap. This is the 26th of February to the 6th of March. Remember, it's a 10-day anomaly, though, so it doesn't rule out the chance of a couple of colder days within that 10-day period, if you see what I mean. But overall, the 10 days has above average heights sort of to our west, low pressure to our north. Jet stream doing something like that, maybe on the periphery of a cold snap. There could be cold snap coming into Scandinavia in that sort of area. So, Beijing Climate Centre, a little bit in between on the chance of a cold snap for the very end of February. Next 10-day period is the 7th to the 16th of March. Low pressure again to the northwest, high pressure to the southwest. Winds remain west-southwesterly. That looks a bit unsettled, but probably very mild. And then the final 10-day period is the 17th of March to the 26th, almost to the end of March. Low pressure again remains across Greenland, Iceland, high pressure to our southwest, and we remain westerly. So the pattern that we had all winter, westerlies, the Beijing Climate Centre wants to keep that going right the way into the first month of spring, seemingly. We shall see how it all plays out, and all will be revealed in the next few days. But the shorter range stuff, particularly those ECM ensembles, and maybe the GFS too, perhaps hinting at the chance of a cold snap in the closing days of February. And of course, it would be a bit perverse after such a very mild winter to end it with a cold snap, but that's the way the weather can go sometimes. So possibly a cold snap for the end of February. Before then, though, of course, the big story is with Storm Menace. And then next week looks like it's going to turn milder after a chilly start. And perhaps a bit drier down in the south too. We shall see. Right, that's it for your video today. I hope you found it interesting and informative. You're up to date with everything. And we'll be back tomorrow with JMA Friday and, of course, a week to 10-day video update. We'll have all of the latest on Menace. Come back for that then. That's all for now, though, and thanks for watching.